Hey everybody, welcome in, and it's time to talk the tier 7 to 8 gear. There's been a lot of talk about which ones and what to get from the raid exchange, and things have changed. Things have changed a little bit now with the raids popping over a lot. If you're in a club who is really late, so I'm just wiping a bit of sleep out of my eyes before I go off to bed. But if you're in a club that is doing the heroic raids, you'll be getting quite a few of these tier 8 exclusive gear pieces. Now, if that is the case, if you're a whale and you're spending a lot, this is where, or if you're even just purchasing some of the gem packs or the money packs to get the tier 7.5, tier 8 gear, these are the ones you're missing out on. This is all that you want to buy. This is the best value if this is you. Now, if you are a non-spender, free to play, you'll probably want to rather be right down here. You want to be going after these 3,000 cost gear pieces and the 4,000 one as well. I would go for both of them. Now, then you also see that there are some 10,000 one. I'll go through and I'll explain to you the difference between all these. I would farm all these ones for the 10,000 cost, and then I'd purchase here the ones for 4,000 and 3,000, because you want to really maximize your gear. It'll take you a little bit longer than if you were just to buy everything that you need right now for a certain character. But I'm just going to say it should be worth it if you can then get more gear in the long run. Now, there will be a time where you can do that and just spend up big if you're waiting on like a character that's going to be pivotal for you to move forward and get more rewards somewhere else. That will be the exception. If that is not the case, hold out and do it the slower, better way in the long run. So what I'm going to mean by that, I'll show you with my farming here. What I do with all these gear pieces. So with the new tier 8 gear, you only need for these last two pieces, the two pieces that were locked previously, that we couldn't see, that were behind those like strange tentacle um, icons. Those are these pieces here. So these are the ones that you need. Um, these pieces of the tier 8 gear, and you need to make sure you've got these little chips or those ones. That is what you get from raids. You can also buy them in the raid exchange. Now, for the other gear that's in the raid exchange, the cheap ones are always this first row piece of gear. They will always have like a material, like with these wavy ones, and then an icon one. So that is the typing one. So there'll be one, they'll all be type based. So mythical, downtown villain, downtown hero, whatever else it might be. But this is the very top one is the 3,000. So if we look for this one, these ones are the 3,000. These ones here are the 4,000. So those are the ones that you'll be buying from the exchange shop. Now the second piece of gear here, because it only requires one piece of gear to make this, whereas the top one required the two different types, this is the one that's more expensive because there's more limited. It's going to be harder to get this one because you can't just you they don't want you to just buy it cheaply because it's going to be double as hard to get it, or double the cost, because you need half of what it takes to make these, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense, and I've done a semi decent job of explaining it. But these are the ones you don't want to be buying from the raid exchange because they are just so expensive, and I wouldn't even buy them from the club exchange for it's just quite costly for two. What I would do though is do the farms, and I'd farm for them, especially while we're on these double energy drops. I would go in and use this time to farm, get them all up, get your fix of gear and that rare gear. I'll do it here and hopefully get enough to boom. That right there, by spending my energy on those pieces, getting that amount of pieces, those 5 pieces that I've just got, or even just over 5, that pretty much just saved me 10k raid tokens that I could have spent on more of these to get all of those up. So farm these ones, purchase those ones, you'll get further, you'll be able to make these pieces of gear. And I cannot, can I equip it? Should we do it for Zurg? I do want to do this in the coming video, and I do want to work on Zurg, and I want to test the limits of before he's tier 8 to just slowly adding his gear pieces and seeing where's that sweet spot for him to be able to start sniping big tanks and one hitters, because at gear tier 8 he is nasty, destroys your team, snipes one character, takes out another one or two. That is the Zurg that we all used to know, and he is coming back at tier 8. But I want to see if there's a sweet spot when I step up. So that's going to be another coming video, but hopefully that helped with the explaining of the different pieces of gear, what you should be farming, what you shouldn't be farming, and pretty much everything else in this raid exchange is not really worth your value. Don't go for the tokens. You can farm those for energy at a far less cost. So do you want 2 tokens for 8k? Do you want 2 tokens for 8k raid tokens, or would you rather the gear that is so limited and go for some of those? So definitely go for the 4 and 3,000. If you are not getting the faction that you need, say if I wanted to do Zurg and I was just had no Zurg downtown villain things, but I had all the rest of the gear for him, that is when I'd purchase these ones. At 6k, this is still a decent price for what you're getting for the exclusives, if it's going to help you in your roster. If it's not, just be patient, wait until you pull whichever types of gear from the raids, and eventually you're going to be pulling a lot of these, and you'll be able to build up that way, build up your characters. You only need, for 2 of the gear pieces to get to gear tier 8, you only need those, so you need about 100 per character. And outside of that, you only need the other pieces. So the other pieces are far more value. You're going to use a whole lot more of them because you need them for every single one. So you need to have like 40 of those, 30 of those times 6, 40 of these times 6, and those as well. So that's where you want to be putting the value. Since you need so much of it, put it all into those, get more of it, progress more, get the more characters to tier 8 rather than wasting them on spending more than you need to on certain pieces of gear. So hopefully that's helped, and let me know if it has in the comments below, and let me know if you're doing it right beforehand, if you were, or what you're doing in the raid exchange, if it differs to what I was just saying. So can't wait to hear from you guys, and we'll see you all soon.